Welcome to the Holly Press Fibers podcast. I'm Elizabeth and I'm coming to you from Northwest Montana. This is a knitting podcast and I'm going to apologize up front for any background noise. My fireplace is in the process of shutting down, which means that the blower is running and it's going to be running for like the next half hour. But I don't have a half hour to wait. So I figured I would just hop on here and do a little podcast before I have to be on a phone call. So I have a few different finished objects today. One of them I don't have here with me. It is the Mithril sweater by Lisa Chemery, which is Frogginette knits. And I worked on this for the Tolkien knit along that we were doing, the Baggins birthday KAL 22. This was one of my projects for that. I finished this on the way down to visit my kids. They're both in college. And I was making it because one of my son's best friends, he and his wife, just had their first baby. So this was a welcome gift for that baby who was born in July. Yes, very end of July. And I made the 3 to 6 month size, and the baby was born almost as preemie. The baby was in the NICU for a while, so I'm not sure about the sizing. I know that it's not going to fit at the 3 to 6 month range. I mean, maybe later this winter it'll fit. My son, I did not get to meet the baby, but my son said, from what he saw of baby versus sweater, he was like, maybe end of the season, but at the same point, babies sometimes grow this way, or I should say this way. They grow taller sometimes than wider, so faster. So we'll see if it's this year or next year. They're down in Colorado, so there's plenty of opportunities to wear a sweater, so it's all good. And then my next finished object was also for the Tolkien knit along, but I didn't finish it in time for the knit along. So this is the second breakfast pattern, which is by Lindsay of Sock Witchery. And I used my own yarn for this. This was Last Light of Durin's Day. And I got these done the week after the knit along ended. So it went from August 22nd to September 22nd. So I had these done like on the 29th of September, but I didn't weave in the ends until this morning. So technically they're done today. But, and in a little bit, I'll get back to the Tolkien knit along because we have a winner to announce. But I'll finish with some of my finished objects. My next finished object is a vanilla sock, and it is Nutkin's Riddle. And this is this one. I think I might have considered this my September entry for Anna's Knit Club. She's been doing a monthly knit club and she calls it #Anna's Knit Club. I think this is the one that I said was my entry for that. I don't think she's actually doing prizes. It's just you can share what you're working on. So vanilla sock with a short row heel, and this was month 2 of the Beatrix Potter inspired colorways. And I've already finished month 1, which was Mr. McGregor's Garden. So I think we're on month 6 now. So I've got some catching up to do, although that won't be happening anytime soon. I'll talk about that in Imagine Knitting. Okay, more socks. But now I'm just on to half objects. So this next one is King Peter the Magnificent. And do you have to wonder if he got an ego when he got named King Peter the Magnificent. I mean, he was a good king, so hopefully not, but seriously, the Magnificent. And I put on a stitch marker that's 3 by the Sea. This was part of one of their, I don't know if I had it turned the right way, part of like a Britain or England series they had. So the Union Jack, not Union Jack. Yeah, Union Jack is what they call their flag, right? I think so. So that one is finished, one of them. And I have the second one up to the toe. So almost have a finished set there. The other one that I have from the Narnia series is another half object. And this is Queen Lucy, the Valiant. And this is 3 by the Sea as well, a little teapot, because Lucy has tea with Mr. Tumnus. But these colorways, I don't think I mentioned in the previous podcast. There's Peter, Lucy, and then I've got the other 2 siblings, but I didn't tell you how they came about. So I had made this colorway last January, and my daughter was home on break, and she said, that looks like Queen Susan the Gentle. And she pulled up a picture, and we're like, yeah, pretty close. So we called this one Queen Susan the Gentle, and she said, you know, you should make all of the siblings. And I said, you know, you should make all of the siblings. She is also a big lover of both Narnia and Lord of the Rings. So when she came home on her summer break for about a week, she dyed up the prototypes for King Peter, Queen Lucy, and King Edmund. And we took really good notes as she did it so I could recreate them for the shop. So Peter, Lucy, and then Edmund is here. And part of the deal with her dyeing these up is I told her if she came up with the colorway and she wrote down notes that were easy enough for me to follow, that I would give her the profit. I'd give her the money from the sale of the sock sets for her wedding. So in addition to what we're putting aside for her wedding, this would be on top of that. So she is getting married here in a few months, and that was just like a little fun, you know, way for her to earn a little extra, money towards her wedding. So there are 2 of them. The next one I apparently haven't woven in the ends, so I'll tuck those in. This is a colorway that was part of a club last year, part of the Pemberley Club, and it is the work of many generations, and I love the way this one pooled. I am so excited about how it pooled, which is probably silly. I know a lot of people don't like pooling, but in this case, to me, it looks like a stack of books or books on the shelves. I just love it. And it fits because the work of many generations is from a quote where in Pride and Prejudice, Miss Bingley is talking about Mr. Darcy's library, and she says something about her wanting an extensive library when she has her own estate, or when she's the mistress of an estate, ever so subtly hinting to Mr. Darcy, and he totally ignores that reference and says, well, it ought to be great because it was the work of many generations. So, but yeah, I love the way this is pooling. I don't know if I'll get the next one to pool like that, or if it was just happenstance that it worked out that way, but I love that it looks like the books all lined up. Okie dokie. I was going to tell you, okay, so work of many generations. I don't have the second one in the needles. Queen Lucy the Valiant. I thought I did. I was looking around my house going, I've got a half finished sock around here somewhere. Nope. I found the yarn and the needles, and apparently the half finished sock was completely mythical. So that didn't happen, but that's okay. I'll get to going on this and Work of Many Generations and finish King Peter. Eventually, I will have more socks. Let's see here. Oh, because I finished 2 pair of socks and a sweater, I'm going to open some of these. So this was my Advent stitch marker from last year, and now that we're halfway through October almost, I better get a move on because I still have quite a few of these to open. So I'm going to open one for each pair of socks and the sweater. So there we go. Awesome. This is, hopefully I'm getting it in screen. If not, I'll put a picture of it. A little 4-leaf clover. Put that where it won't clank. Yeah, I figure I've got to open these because I'm not going to have too many more finished projects before the end of the year, but I want to have this Advent calendar caught up. When I didn't do it for Advent, I started doing it as every time I finished a project, I would open one of these. This one does not want to come out at all. I don't even know what it is yet. Oh my gosh. There we go. Oh, it had actual glue on the marker. Okay, well that's why. Oh, little acorns. That's cute. That would have been good when I did the Nutkin's Riddle. That would have been fun. I'll have to get that glue off that one. Okay, one more. And that'll mean I only have, what, 6 of these left. So if I get a bunch of half socks done or something else, I can finish this off before this Christmas. Ooh, a little butterfly. That's sweet. That's a little cutie patootie. I like that. Okie dokie. So, yeah, 6 more. I'll whip out some socks, hopefully, to get those opened up. Okie dokie. Let's see here. Next in progress. So now we're on to WIPs. And apparently my sock drawers felt neglected with all of the socks I've been doing lately. I think I've been doing socks because it's just easy for me to sit like at the kitchen table and work on them. But this is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by Night Owl Fibers. And I'm doing a String of Lights pattern, which is, again, Lindsay of Sock Witchery. And I love this striping pattern because I can just see the lion, the witch, and then the 4 siblings. That's how I think of it anyways. And, oh, I've got another 3 by the Sea on here. It all came in the same kit, so that England kit had a whole bunch of different thematic ones. So yes, that was Night Owl Fibers. And then this one I wanted to show, I didn't make much progress on it at all. It's by Juuti Knits, and she has a podcast. Last time I only had the first repeat of this done. They are little honeycombs, and I'm going to try not to clink my needles. But now I've got a couple more repeats on here so you can see what it's starting to look like. These will be just very slow progress. Yeah, but I really love the pattern. I took a class on how to do beekeeping, and it was like a 2 or 3 weekend class, and the whole purpose was to learn about bees, beekeeping, especially in the climate up in northwest Montana. And this lady was one of the higher up in the beekeeping world, so she knew what she was talking about. And by the time I finished the class, I was like fully gung-ho wanting to be a beekeeper, but wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing before I bought the gear. By the time I finished the class, I was less excited, simply for the fact that I knew that if my bees swarmed and left, I would be heartbroken. And she said that you can get your bees back, or you can collect swarms. She said they happen in our area very often, where you'll be able to like collect them off of the whole swarm. Will just like take over a branch, and it's called a bivouac. And you can go up and have your box underneath it, and you flomp it, and all of them kind of fall. And as long as the queen bee accepts that box, you're golden. Which is kind of a pun, you're golden. But anyways, I decided I would feel abandonment issues if they swarmed, so I did not want to go that route. All right. Okay. This is my last work in progress. And I promise the next episodes will not be so sock heavy, because I have some big stuff coming up. But this one is a pattern that I've been wanting to knit since it came out. It came out in June. It was for the Christmas in July, and it is a DanaRaeMakes pattern. This is Quilted Stripes. You can see the quilting in some areas better than others, just depending on how light or dark the yarn was at certain times. This is the Best Christmas Pageant Ever mini skein set, and I'm doing the red for the cuff and toe. For the heel, I'm doing the green, and then the other 4 colorways just putting in there as a pattern. I chose to do the green only on this. Oops, sorry guys. Only on the heel because I used the green in another pair of socks and I didn't want to run out. So I'll grab them all out here. So here are all of the colorways. And I used that green and actually the red too in these socks. And each stripe that I did on these took 1 gram. So that meant that my 20 gram mini of green, I only had 10 grams left. I had an extra red because the red came with this as a sock set. This is Elf Workshop. So I wasn't worried about running out of the red, but I was worried about the green. So yeah, that's how I came up with that plan. I'm loving her pattern. It's one of those patterns, you know how it is with scrappy projects or self-striping, you just want to get to that next color. Well, this one has that, but it also has the, I want to get to the texture too. So right after you get to the next color, you're like, but the texture's coming, I've got to get to the texture. By the time that's done, you're like, I'm so close to the next color, I better just keep going. So that is everything for what I'm working on. Okay, so the Tolkien knit along ended a couple weeks ago, and I said that I would announce the winner here. So the winner of Baggins' birthday make along, our KAL 22, I pulled all of the people that posted on Instagram, and I had quite a few that came in through email that don't have Instagram accounts, combined all of those and randomly pulled one, and it is 7696.myra. So you can contact me for your prize, which is a sock set of your choice from the store. And thank you guys for everybody that participated. That was a lot of fun. I think we'll do it again next year, and I'll try to put together a list of more Tolkien themed patterns. There are quite a few out there. So of course there's sock patterns, but there were a few shawls that I saw and wraps, and well, like the sweater, that baby sweater I did. So I'll try to put together a list of some that I find. If you find some, please let me know. You can comment on them, and I'll start a list now for next year, because that was a lot of fun to have that knit along. And now I'm going to do the segment that is Darn It. And I know this is not technically darning, but I mended these. Last time I showed you guys these mitts, they didn't really have thumbs left in them because I had worn them through. So now we have thumbs on them again. They don't match, but I'm totally okay with that. I was just excited to have these mittens back and have them mended before it snowed. So to me, that was a win right there that I actually did it, because they sat around, I think, all last winter just needing new thumbs. I never did it. So I have my hand-me-down, probably Susan Bates double points that I did them with, and I don't have the skein that I made, but it was just a DK weight. I'm fairly certain that was the Pathfinder colorway DK weight that I had some scraps left over from a sweater. So I'm excited I got those all the way done, and I've been trying different needles. Most of my double points are all the Susan Bates or something very similar metal, and I've been trying different double points. I got some Knitter's Pride cubics, and they are the wood kind, and I'm really liking those. They're nice and warm to the touch. They're not like sticky. I don't want to sticky. I don't know. You know, like bamboo seems to grip. That's the word I wanted. It grips better. So I didn't want bamboo because I like my stitches to slide really easily. On the Knitter's Pride cubics, they seem to be sliding nicely. I've only tried them on socks so far, so I don't know how I would feel about that on a bigger project like a hat. But so I've tried those. My favorite needles are still the ChiaoGoo. I have the interchangeable set, and I've got fixed set. I've got 9-inch. I've got the little shorties that have the 2-inch and 3-inch needles, but I've learned I really like the 4-inch tips on interchangeable doing magic loop. I've tried the shorties for both socks and for sleeves, and I can do the shorties on sleeves, but my fingers get more tired. I like the way the sleeve looks better, I think, on the shorty as well. But I don't care for shorties on socks, and I haven't figured out how to do 9-inch socks, 9-inch needles on socks without my hands hurting. And I know there are a lot of people that say the exact opposite, that the 9-inch make it easier on them, they're faster, there's not as much repetitive. So just my perspective on it. It's funny. Okay, so story time. I will be sitting there knitting with the ChiaoGoo and my dog. I have 2 dogs, so I've got one that's got the ears that are straight up and one with floppy ears. The one with floppy ears is half deaf, so she could care less, but the one with the up ears she doesn't like the sound of metal needles. So if she wants to sit near me, she will come up, put her paw over me. I'm like, lady, keep it down. I'm trying to nap here. So yeah, she likes the Knitter's Pride wood needles by far. Oh gosh, can tell I'm definitely a dog mom. Anyways, okay, so out of the green room, this came into the spotlight for a very, very short time. And it is the, I think I'm going to pronounce it correctly, Nasrin. No, that goes in the back. It's by Isabel Kramer. And I just have the sleeves left to do. I purposely did a very low contrast color work because I just wanted it to be very subtle, and I'm loving it. This is one that I have been using the little shorties on. So the little, let's see, on one side I have a 2-inch needle and the other's a 3-inch needle, and that's working for these. I got a few rows in on this, and I was so happy that I took it out of the green room that I was like, yes, you're going to be in the spotlight. And then I determined I'm going to try to knit a cardigan for my daughter's wedding. I don't know if I'll have it done in time, but I'm going to try. So I dyed up this yarn, and this is Surrey alpaca and silk. So I learned my lesson with kid mohair. I won't be trying that again. I was going to make this into the Wrap Me Up cardigan, which is by Plum Mum. So that was the plan. And then I saw Wrap Me Up Again, also by Plum Mum. So these colorways are close to what I want. I think for the Wrap Me Up Again, I will do one of these lighter pink areas in a sport weight merino, but then I will add like this color I'll make on this Surrey alpaca, and I'll put those two together because the Wrap Me Up Again is a slightly different weight gauge, and it just has a little like more substance to it. It's not as floaty, and I think that'll be a tiny bit warmer, I'm hoping, because for my daughter's wedding, her ceremony is up at, it's in a national park, up a mountain trail in the middle of the winter. So I want to be warm. I want to look elegant, but I want to be warm. So that's why I decided I won't do this one, but I'll do the other one. It just looked a tiny bit warmer. And I also liked the finishing touches she had. I think it was double hems, or yeah. So these will probably go into the shop, but I'll be dyeing up the colorway for Wrap Me Up Again cardigan. And I'll put both of the pictures up here so you can see what the difference is. That'll be, I think, my next big project, and that's why a lot of what I'm working on currently is going to be pushed aside. I'm not even sure I can say they're all going into the green room. Some of those half socks might just become forgotten until next spring, which is sad to say, but they're just socks, right? So I guess you could say that the cardigan is part of Imagine Knitting, and it is something that actually has a deadline. I don't have the yarn yet, but I'm definitely hoping to do it because the dress that it goes with is the dress that I want to wear, but it's a summer dress, so I wouldn't be able to wear that dress unless I had a cardigan with it. Otherwise, I have to go shopping for something to wear to her wedding. I don't like shopping. So if I can make the sweater instead of spending that time shopping, that's like a double win right there. My other Imagine Knitting was last episode. I talked about how I wanted to do a year of Alicia Plummer. And as I was filming that podcast, I wrote down all of the details for it and was telling you guys about each of the patterns. And I realized just on the fly then that almost everything I had chosen was on size 7 needles and a V-neck. And started going, maybe that's actually not what I want to do. So I started to feel kind of guilty because I had proclaimed that I wanted to do this year of Alicia Plummer, and now I'm backing away from it. So I had to come to a point where I was like, it's okay, it's imaginary knitting. It's not like I made a promise or a commitment. And I'm a very like goal-oriented, structured person in other parts of my life. So when it comes to my knitting and when I see myself being wishy-washy, I feel guilty about that. But it's a hobby. It's not like I have to be strict with myself about it. So I hope that nobody's offended if I don't do the year of Alicia Plummer. I know I'll knit patterns of hers in the future. I actually have one on the needles that's in my green room right now. That's the Getaway Cardie. So I'll definitely be knitting that at some point. No time soon, since I have this other cardigan going now, or planning. But yeah, it's just, I think a lot of it is like my work me of goals and deadlines, saying, okay, you said you're going to do this, you're going to do it by this date. And then in my knitting, I have to say, no, it's okay if I don't. So the other thing that is in Imagine Knitting, and this one is definitely in the planning stages, is right after I decided to make this cardigan for wearing to my daughter's wedding, she asked if I would make a sweater for her to go over her wedding dress. And it would be, she saw a picture on Pinterest. You gotta love Pinterest. So it was a bride and her groom, and she was in, I should say, were in like a meadow, snow all around, and she had a sweater on with her wedding dress holding a bouquet. And my daughter wants to recreate that look. Not the same, dress or the same sweater, but she wants that general idea. So she asked if I would knit her a sweater. And so we've been looking at patterns. I don't know if she's going to actually have me knit this sweater. I told her she needs to decide very soon. Because if I'm going to knit 2 things for a wedding, I need every day. So I'll see if I can pull up a picture here. It is by Jacqueline Sislock. Oh gosh, I don't think I left the tab open. Oh, I did. There it is. Yay. So, and I'll put a picture up on the screen too, so you can actually see it. But it is the Ursina. Yeah, Ursina. And we're going to try to do 0 ease. This could be a complete disaster. We'll see. I told her, if she decides she wants to buy a sweater or not have a sweater, or if she does want me to knit it, I'm good with anything as long as I have time. So yeah, I did a ton of socks this time. The next episodes might be all wedding knitting. So we shall see what happens with that. It could be a crazy few months here to see if I can pull all of that together. Okay, the other things is I wanted to do I've been watching a couple podcasts, so I wanted to tell you guys about those. The Penrose Knits, I'm sure a lot of people have heard of her. I think it was on her episode that she showed her Wrap Me Up cardigan that got me on this little bunny trail of making this. So that's one I've been watching, and I've been watching Anna Juuti Knits. I've been watching Anna Knitter. I think it's just Anna Knitter, and her Instagram is Anniina Knitter. And I also have been watching Rose Opal Knits, and that's Erica and Daphne, and they were very, very sweet. They did a shout out in a couple episodes back. Their new episode just came out yesterday, I think. So, but the episode before that, they mentioned me, and I think quite a few of you guys came over here to check me out because of them. So if that's why you're here, thank you, and that was super sweet of them. I really enjoy their podcast. They do all sorts of knitting, whether it's toy knitting or garment knitting, sock knitting. They do it all, and they do also all kinds of yarn, which I love seeing when people use, indie yarns all the way to your box store yarns. They do it all. They just enjoy the crafting so much, and I was very thankful that they gave me a little shout out. So that was super sweet. The other things I've been working on I've been planning is on our hikes. I have been picking up twigs and branches that are pretty straight, or as straight as I can find, because I want to make a Christmas tree using the branches and some twine, and it will be a wall hanging. And my plan is that it will be like a Christmas tree. I don't know if I'll put Christmas ornaments on it, but I was thinking that it would be a fun way to hang my yarn advent on it, and each day then I could take one off, open it up, and that would be fun. That would be a cute way to display it, and then I could, after I opened it, put the yarn back up here and just have a way to look at it. So that's my plan. I'm going to keep collecting branches of the appropriate lengths and see if I can make it happen. If I don't, I will have a pile of twigs. But hey, it was fun collecting them. So I think those are the main things that I have sort of on my plate. Okay, I just have a tiny bit of shop news, and one of those things I think I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast that UPS came and delivered the project bags, and that was for the makers collaboration. That is 5 makers are coming together to put together an Advent series for you guys. We've got the project bags that were just delivered by Yackie's Bags, and we've got Woolen & Co. did a special wool wash for us that's scented, but if you're a person that doesn't like scent, just let me know when you check out. I have a couple of unscented bars. We've got Night Owl Fibers. She's a self-striper. She dyes self-striping, and she created a colorway for the kit. And then of course I've got a sock set, and Anna of Shepherd's Hook Handmade Goods, she's on Etsy. She made a beaded progress keeper for us. So with buying that, you're supporting 5 different small businesses. So that's one of the things I wanted to mention. The other one is I'm having a sale at hollypressfibers.com, and I'll put up the discount code here. There are certain things in the shop that are already on sale, and I think that you can stack the sale with the discount code for, doubling that up, or just get whatever you want that the discount code will work on. I think it's going to be available for most things in the shop, probably not the pre-orders like Beatrix Potter. And newsletter subscribers will have already received that information. They have a different discount code, so they could get on and order things ahead of time, and usually I give the subscribers a better discount code. By the time this one goes live, that newsletter will have already gone out. However, if that's interesting to you, I would suggest subscribing. I do sales randomly about twice per year, so you would be in on that information from the get-go. But I think that is everything this time, guys. Oh, one tiny little thing. So I had mentioned a few episodes ago that we have a yarn store that has opened, and we just got in. It's not on the website yet, but it will be up this weekend. We just got in a ton of Samus garn. So we got in their line of Smart and Baby Lynette, and a ton of it. So if either of those bases are of interest to you, give me a few days to get them on the website, but they'll be up soon. So that's something that you guys can check out as well if you're interested. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week and enjoy your crafting. Bye.